Hey everyone, Chris here, and welcome to my channel. And as you can see by my setup, it's time to play Phase 10, chooses my TBR. So if you're new to my channel, Phase 10 is a TBR game that I am basing on the card game Phase 10. I will link the playlist below so that you can check out previous month's editions if you want more explanation of the rules. Before I dive into the game, I want to let you know that it is January 19th, and of my TBR, I am partway through Skyward, and I haven't started Ruby in the Sky, but everything else is finished, so I have no doubt that I'm going to finish those before the end of the month. So I won't be taking any punishments. So I have a lot of, like, read-alongs or book club type things that I'm doing, and I'm hoping to get as many of those books on my TBR as possible. If I do, I will mention when I stick them on my TBR that they are part of a read-along or book club and the information. If not, I'll mention it at the end. Either way, all of that info will be linked in the description below. I'm also planning to take part in Polarathon and the Sims Readathon, so I will link the information about that below. Keep an eye on my channel for my TBRs for those. I am also going to be doing Buzzwordathon still. The prompt for this month is pronouns, so I have a book in mind that I would like to read for that, so hopefully I can get that one on my TBR. I have two more quick things that I need to get out of the way before we can jump on into Phase 10, and that's my nonfiction and my series continue. If you've seen my goals, you'll know that I want to read at least one nonfiction a month, and I'm putting that on my TBR before I do Phase 10 with the idea that I want to add that to my Phase 10 draws. And then I have this lovely series continuation jar that contains every series I'm in the midst of right now. And I'm going to be pulling 3 pieces of paper out of this jar and then, if possible, continuing on with those series. So we'll start with my nonfiction for the month, and that is If You Ask Me, and of course you won't, by Betty White. So given her passing at the end of December, I knew this was going to be my pick for February. I am hoping to get to more than just this in the nonfiction realm, but I just really thought this was a good time to pick this up and get to hear about Betty's life in Betty's own words. So this will be my nonfiction for the month. And now for the crapshoot. No idea what I'm going to get. Hopefully it's stuff that I would like to read anyways, because otherwise I could end up with a very bloated TBR of books that I'm not in the mood for. Okay, so here's piece 1. We'll go there for series 2. And we'll do that one for series 3. So first up, let's see. I've got Black Hollow Lane by Julia Noble, and I don't think there's any more books in this. So some of them are on there, and I'm up to date in them. Some of them are on there, and I don't know if there's going to be more books released in the series, so I have them on there just in case. I believe this is one of the just in case ones. Okay, so according to Goodreads, there's 2 books in the series. I've read both books in the series, but I don't know if there's going to be more books in the series, so for now it goes back into the bin, and I will have to pull a different one. If you know whether there's going to be more books in the series, let me know in the comment section below, because that would be helpful, because if it's just a duology, then I can take it out, and I can take it off my series to continue list. So we'll redraw that. I probably shouldn't have tossed it back in there, but we're going to go down here anyways, and we're going to take this one as I drop pieces of paper all over the floor. So let's try for this one. Perfect. Spirit Animals, which is written by various authors. So the next book in that series is Hunted by Maggie Stiefvater, and I'll pop a picture of it up here. I've got absolutely no problem reading that book, and I plan to continue on with that series anyways in the near future, as I've requested the audiobook from the library. So perfect as my first choice for series to continue in February. My second series is Nevermore by Jessica Townsend, and I know that the 4th book isn't out yet, so I can't do that one. So we'll set that over here, and we'll go for this one. On Luna Time by Amber Crawley. That one I can do. So the second book is called In Light of Luna, and this is on Kindle Unlimited, so I can definitely read this in the month of February, so that's going to be the second series that I continue. And then my prompt for the last one is the Gentleman Bastard series by Scott Lynch. And that one I can do as well. It's called The Republic of Thieves. I'll pop a picture up here. My library has that one, so I will be reading The Republic of Thieves in February. So my 3 series are On Lunatime, Gentleman Bastards, and Spirit Animals. Quite the eclectic mix there, and will hopefully be able to fit into my Phase 10 prompts. Now that I've got that out of the way, let's jump on into the game. Draw number 1 is a yellow 11. And the prompt for yellow 11 is dark cover. For this, I'm going to read The Wall of Storms by Ken Liu. This is the second book in the Dandelion Dynasty, and I'm reading this as part of a read-along with Stephanie's Bookverse. I read the first book in January, and I gave it 4 stars. There is a lot going on in this series, at least in the first book, and I'm very curious where book 2 goes based on the way book 1 ended, because a lot of things happened at the end of book 1 that I didn't expect to happen. So I'm excited to continue on with this series, and it was one of the ones I wanted to get on my TBR, so that worked out perfect. Draw number 2 is a red 7. And the prompt for red 7 is hardcover. Can't really use my series to continue for that, but I do have a book that is definitely hardcover, and that is Exile by Shannon Messenger. This is the second book in the Keeper of the Lost City series. And in this series, we're following Sophie, who has the ability to read minds, and she meets a boy named Fitz one day who tells her that where he's from, that's completely normal. And it's completely normal for her too, as she's an elf. And she is whisked off to the Lost Cities and gets to learn a lot more about where she came from. I absolutely adore this series, and this is a reread for me, and I'm reading it as part of Keep Her Along, so another book that I had wanted to get on my TBR anyway, so again, another perfect draw for me. Draw number 3 is a 10. Oh, okay. I'm going to go with green since I've already had yellow and red, and I have no idea whether this is a good choice or a bad choice. I suppose we'll find out. And the prompt for green 4 is red cover. So for red cover, I'm going to read Rise of the World Eater by Jamie Littler, and this is the 3rd and final book in the Frostheart trilogy, which is actually checking another series to continue off my list, which is perfect. I want to know what happens in this book so badly, and I was hoping to get to it in January and just didn't manage to get there, so excited to be able to put it on my February TBR. Draw number 4 is a blue 11. The prompt for blue 11 is mom pick. So I have no idea what she is going to pick for me. I will likely give her 2 options of books that I want to be on my TBR and 2 options that I won't. I will insert the cover here along with a note as to whether I wanted that or not, and I guess we'll all find out together later. Draw 5 is a skip. That could come in handy later. It'll mean I can skip one of the prompts I get, though I still have to draw all 10 prompts. So draw number 5, part 2, is a skip. With it being February, I'm fine with these skips, especially considering I have plenty of time to pull wild. So draw number 5, part 3, is a skip. Okay, I promise you I shuffled these cards. There are only 4 skips in the whole deck. I don't think I've ever pulled that many skips in a row. Okay, this makes me worried I'm about to hit like 12 wilds, even though there aren't 12 wilds in the deck. Okay. Draw number 5, part 4, is a red 7. Okay, this one's a prompt. That's good. Very baffled by all the skips. That's not how this usually works. And for red 7, I got black hole. So this is a prompt I only recently added, and it is inspired by Stephanie from Stephanie Book versus TBR Game, because she plays TBR Star Hop. I will link her latest Star Hop in the description below. But basically, she has these spaces on the board that are black holes, and she has a jar of books that are like intimidating or big reads or whatever, and I decided to kind of copy that and get inspired. So this is my black hole jar, which does not really make you think black hole. And inside of it are books that I don't necessarily want to read right now. I have some big chunky ones on there. I had some that have been on my TBR for a long time and I haven't picked up. There's all sorts of things in here, and yeah, we're going to pick one, and that's going to determine what book I'm going to read. So we'll go with this one right here. And the lucky winner is Dragons Wild by Robert Asprin and Jody Lynn Nye. So this is one of my These Books Will Self-Destruct, and it is this one. So we're following a guy who likes to play poker, and he ends up finding out that he and his sister are dragons, and that kind of upturns his life. This is a reread for me, and I wanted to reread it to see if it was a series that I wanted to keep on my shelves, and it looks like, thanks to the black hole, I have no choice. So yeah, my self-destruct books should be in there too. I had forgotten about that, but I will be reading at least one of my These Books Will Self-Destruct choices this month. I will link that video in the description below as well if you want to see what else is on that list. Draw number 6 is a yellow 5. And the prompt for yellow 5 is paperback. So most of the books I want to get to are library books, so I don't really know what format I'm going to get them in, so I have to pick one off of the rest of my TBR. And the only paperback I have left is The Girl, the Cat, and the Navigator by Matilda Woods. And I believe we're following a girl who goes on an adventure on the Plucky Leopard and wants to see a magical creature called the Nardu and stows away on her father's ship to track one down. And obviously, I'm assuming adventures ensue from there. So I'm looking forward to checking this book out, and I want to know more about the cat. So this book is going on my TBR. Draw number 7 is a 2. Ooh. Okay. I'm going to go with the 3 because I've already done a couple of 11s. So yellow 3. Let's see what we're getting. And we have gotten over 500 pages. So for this, I'm going to read The Name of All Things by Jen Lyons. This is the second book in the A Chorus of Dragons series, and based on what I've seen, every version of this book is over 500 pages, so it should count. I really enjoyed the first book, gave it 5 stars, and I'm very curious to see what happens next. And who we're following, because I don't know if we're going to be following Kieran like we were in the first book, but I really enjoyed the way the first book was written, and I read that because Jade from JD Ray Reads, whose channel I will link in the description below, absolutely loves it, and she loved the second one too. And so I have high hopes for this one, and I had hoped to get it on my TBR, so that works out perfect. Draw number 8 is a 10, and I have completed my phase. Well, that means I have to go with the red 11, and that means I get a skip or a swap. So I have way too much help this month, which makes me wonder if there's some wilds coming up. But let's get the red 11 out of the way first. So the prompt for red 11 is foiled cover. So for foiled cover, I'm going to go with the Whiz Pop Chocolate Shop. And I don't know if you can tell, but there is a lot of foiling on that cover. And it says, Oz and Lily's family have moved house into a chocolate shop. It's the perfect home apart from the small fact that it's haunted. When they discover enchanted chocolate hidden in the shop, they realize that the Whiz Pop Chocolate Shop is hiding more than one spooky secret. Before too long, evil villains are after them, keen to get their hands on an ancient recipe for dangerous magic. Can Oz, Lily, and their magical cat save their new home and its priceless chocolate mysteries? So this sounds like it's going to be quite the fantastical read, and it's a middle grade, so hopefully it'll be a quick read as well, because it wasn't supposed to be on my TBR this month. So yeah, this is what I'm going to be going for for foiled cover. So now I have to reset the board, so give me a minute and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the board all set up for the next phase. This is phase 10, the 10th and final phase, and I need a set of 5 and a set of 3. So I'm going for 3s and 4s based on the cards that I have. So let's get back in and draw my final 2 cards, or what should hopefully be my final 2 cards. Draw number 9 is a green 5. And for this, I have to do a color wheel. Okay, so we have a random color generator up here rather than a wheel because it'll give me more options. And the color I have to choose from is, pink. I think I can do that. So I'm going to go with Ember and the Ice Dragons because if you can see here, it looks like the pink I have is kind of right here in this book. So I think that's a pretty close enough match. So I don't know much about this book other than that it is a polar fantasy that I believe Jade really enjoyed, and that's why I bought it, and it'll be perfect for Polarathon. So I'm excited to be able to add it to my TBR. And for what I'm hoping is my final draw, draw number 10, is not my final draw because I got a wild. Crud. Okay. Draw number 10, try 2, is a blue 11. Should have known that was too good to be true. And the blue 11 prompt didn't stay up on the board for too long, and it is Start a Series. So for this, I'm going to read Jade City. This is the first book in the Greenbone Saga series, and I had been planning to read it in February anyways as part of the Read Along Queens read-along of the Greenbone Saga trilogy. I've been hearing amazing things about this series, and I am so excited to be starting it, so it was a no-brainer for Start a Series. So now, to deal with the wild, I'm going to roll this die, and whatever number comes up on the die is the number of extra prompts I have to draw. And we have 5. Crud. Okay. Really glad that I have 3 skips and a skip/swap in my back pocket, because I still don't know at this point what I'm reading for Mom Pick, but oh well. Wild 1, draw 1 is a blue 7. Move that out of the way. Blue 7. And the prompt for blue 7 is Disability Rep. And for Disability Rep, I'm going to be reading El Defo by C.C. Bell, and this is a graphic novel, and our main character is deaf. I have been wanting to read this for a while now, and since I have some very chunky adult fantasies on my TBR, I definitely want to add in something quick and easy, like a graphic novel, so excited to have this on my TBR. Wild 1, draw 2 is a wild. Goody. We've got 2 of them now. I knew last month had been too nice to me. Well, wild 1, draw 2, part 2 is a red 1. Thank you. Thank you. And my prompt is under 500 ratings. So for this prompt, all I need to do is pick a book that has under 500 ratings on Goodreads. And for this, I'm going to be reading In Light of Luna by Amber Crowley, because it has 122 ratings on Goodreads, so definitely under that 500 rating threshold. I really enjoyed the first book and am looking forward to reading the second one. Plus, it's a continuous series, and it was a book I was going to be reading this month anyway, so I might as well stick it on my TBR. Wild 1, draw 3 is a 7. Good gracious, I've gotten a lot of 7s and 11s. Okay, green 7. The prompt for green 7 is multiple people on the cover. So for this, I'm going to read Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. And this covers my Buzzwordathon prompt because it's pronouns, and we is a pronoun. This is a historical fiction that is inspired by a true story. 2 families, generations apart, are forever changed by a heartbreaking injustice. I've heard a lot of really good things about this one. I've heard that it's a really heartbreaking read though, so I'm expecting it to be very emotional, but I really want to get to this, and it is one of the 2 books I got for BookTube spins, so it's covering a lot of bases picking this one. Wild 1, draw 4 is a 1. And the prompt for green 1 is book from my last haul. So for book from my last haul, I'm going to go with The Case of the Missing Marquis by Nancy Springer. This is the first book in the Enola Holmes series, and we're following the sister to Detective Sherlock Holmes. So I'm hoping this will help break up the TBR with a bit of a middle grade mystery, since I have a lot of adult fantasies on there, so this would be a nice break. And Wild 1, draw 5 is a 4, which means I can take the 4. And I'm going to go with the green 11 because it's the only color 11 we haven't had yet. So why not throw it in there? And the prompt for green 11 is mythology. So for mythology, I'm going to go with The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. And I believe this book has ancient Egyptian mythology in it, and it is the first book in the Kane Chronicles. And we're going to be following Carter and Sadie, who discovered that the gods of ancient Egypt are waking. So yes, definitely sounds like we're going to have ancient Egyptian mythology in this, and I really want to read it, so adding this to the ever-growing TBR. Okay, it's time for Wild 2 and its roll, so please be kind to me. 2. 2 I can do. As long as none of them are wilds, 2 is doable, but oh goodness. Okay. Wild 2, draw 1 is the last skip. Okie dokie. Well, I have plenty of skips to go around, so at least I have that going for me. But I believe there are only 4 skips in the whole deck, which means I have to go the rest of this phase with no skips, so that sucks. Wild 2, draw 1, try 2 is a 12. I can do that. Green 12. And the prompt for green 12 is different culture. So for this, I am going to read This Tender Land by William Kent Kruger. And the reason I'm going to say this is different culture is because we're going to be following Odie and his brother Albert, who are at a Native American school where parents are forcibly separated from their children, and they're orphans, but they will be fleeing from the school with Mose, who is a mute young man of Sioux heritage, and a broken-hearted little girl named Emmy. And I think we're going to be learning about the Native American schools where kids were forcibly sent and taken away from their parents. So I think that would cover a different culture, because obviously I'm not Native American, so I'm going to be using this for the different culture prompt. And then for what I hope is my very final draw, Wild 2, draw 2 is a red 9, which means I'm done. No more prompts this month. Thank you. Thank you. Give me something I can work with, please. And for red 9, I've got new to me author. So for this, I'm going to use Betty White as my new to me author because I've never read a book by Betty White. So I think it counts. That'll cover my nonfiction and my new to me author. Hey everyone, Editing Chris here. And as I was editing, I realized that for the green 5 prompt, I drew the blue 5 prompt. So I've decided to do both. So as you can see, here's my board and here's green. And we're going to grab the green 5 prompt and see what that is. And the green 5 prompt is BIPOC Rep. Okay, so for BIPOC Rep, I'm going to go with Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby. And I believe this is a thriller that follows 2 men, one who's black and one who's white, whose sons were murdered. And they're out for revenge and redemption. And I've heard really good things about this book and have really wanted to get to it. So I'm going to stick this on my TBR. And this is a 5-star prediction. So hopefully I will love this book. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I completely forgot that I was going to mention any books that I had hoped to get to in February for like read-alongs or book clubs or whatever that I didn't get on my TBR. And then I completely forgot to mention them. So First, I'm going to be reading The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker, and I'm reading this as part of the Backlist Book Club, which, again, all of the links for any of the read-alongs, readathons, book clubs, whatever, will be linked in the description below. So if you're curious about any of this, go down there and check it out. And according to Goodreads, it says, a brilliantly imagined saga of honor, glory, and warfare, The Bone Ships is the epic launch of a new fantasy from David Gemmell Award-nominated R.J. Barker. I believe this is an adult high fantasy, and I am excited to be reading along with everybody, and I had been hoping to get it on my TBR, but that didn't work out, but I am planning on reading it in February. Next is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, and this is the pick for the Enchanted Book Club for February. And this appears to be a fake dating romance where we're going to be going to a wedding and a trip in Spain with the most infuriating man in 3 days of pretending. So it sounds like a fake dating romance, and I have wanted to check that out. So when I saw that it was the pick for the Enchanted Book Club, I thought it was a good time to get to it. So hopefully I will be able to read this in the month of February. And then the last two are going to be part of the Lost Books Club, which is hosted by Megan from Mythical Megan and Jade from Paperback to Hardback. And each month they'll be reading 2 books, one of which is a pirate book and one of which is a fae book, and then kind of comparing and contrasting which one they prefer. And the pirate book they chose was Crossbones by Kimberly Vale, and the fae book that was chosen was The Falconer by Elizabeth May. So I'm going to give both of these books a try and see if either one of them appeals to me and which I like more. The announcement videos for the Lost Books Club will be linked in my description below. Those are the last additions I have to my TBR, so back to past me wrapping this video up. So this is part of my insane TBR for February. Wish me luck. All of my social media is linked in the description below, including my Discord if you'd like to come chat with me about any of these books. If you've made it this far in the video, leave me bunny emojis, like this video, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!